Hi everybody, it's nice to see many of you again. And it's always nice to be in Stockholm. Coming from Lund, it seems like it's a bit of a long journey, but it's always very nice to come here. So my name is Torsten. I work at Lund University Center for Sustainability Studies, and I'm going to present a project that we have started about 1.5 years ago. And that basically has been born out of me working for almost 15 years in different countries, different contexts, mostly in Ecuador and also in Colombia the last 10 years. And realizing that when we talk about conservation, the Amazon, biodiversity, wildlife, very often we are facing very difficult situations, not just in the political environment or as academics, but also when we're going to the ground and we work with people, we realize how much violence there is around these issues that are not often talked about. So we started to apply for a big farmers project that we got as well as a group. It's not just me, it's a group of people. From very different backgrounds, from the law faculty in Lund, from political science, from geography, from human rights law, and so on, to study environmental human rights defenders. We focus on Colombia, but it's a global study in order to understand what motivates people to really almost like give their lives to a cause that I think we all share is really important, because it's not just about a particular territory or a species, it's about the survival of humanity. And environmental human rights defenders for the last, for a long time, but especially the last 12 years, when there has been more statistics by Global Witness, NGOs that are working with these issues more directly, have really shown a horrible trend around the world. That thousands of people are losing their lives defending what we should all care about much more. They're standing in the way of large-scale interests of governments, of illegal armed groups, defending biodiversity, defending forests, defending wetlands, dry forests, coastal ecosystems for their community benefits, but also for the global benefit of all of us. It's a long list. Unfortunately, there's thousands of people who have lost their lives in the last 14, 15 years. These are just some really well-known cases. Berta Cáceres of the Lenca people in Honduras fighting against hydropower. She was killed in 2016, made the headlines internationally, one of the really big famous cases. In Colombia, where we mostly focus on and work, Sandra Liliana Peña, NASA indigenous activist and also governor of a territory fighting against illegal crops. She's been abducted and killed 3 years ago. Freddy Pestaña Herrera, who's also fighting for land restitution and the recognition of indigenous land rights, has been killed also 3 years ago. And 2 years ago in Brazil, very close to where Juliana is actually working, made international headlines. A Brazilian indigenous activist and English or British investigative journalists working for The Guardian have been murdered because they were trying to expose illegal wildlife trade and illegal trade in wood. These are just some of these people who are really giving their lives. And we're studying really, okay, what motivates them? What are the obstacles they're facing? What are international policies and legal principles in place to support them? For example, the Escazú Agreement. And what kind of success stories can we also show? What really makes these people continue their struggles, and how can we as academics support them? How can we build those bridges to support people who are really giving their lives every day, doing something that we all care about: the climate, forests, livelihoods, biodiversity. We see a very clear trend globally. Probably the numbers are not showing the full picture. But we know that Latin America, and this is from Global Witness, which is an organization that works with this much more closely, Latin America is really the most dangerous region to be an environmental human rights defender or an indigenous activist or biosphere defender. Particularly countries like Honduras, Nicaragua, and Colombia are sticking out, but also so is Brazil. And most importantly, half of the people who have been murdered in the last 14 years are indigenous or Afro-Colombians, for instance. So they come from minority groups. These are the groups that are often still much more connected to the land, to the livelihoods, and are defending their rights against all kinds of interests. Very often we don't know who perpetrators are, or there's no political interest to uncover and to investigate further. So we focus on Colombia because that's where I've been working for the last 10 years. We have several case studies in Colombia, in the Caribbean coast, in Cauca, and then one particular case study we focus on right now with two of the PhD students who also work at LUCSUS, Juan Samper and Valentina Lomanto, is in the Putumayo region. And there we are uncovering and following very closely the resistance against a large-scale mining project. And this is connected to global markets. We're going to hear more about this later on. But we know that we are currently in a transition towards green energy, the green transition, and for this we require many more minerals. New mines are going to be opened up. In this particular case, we talk about one of the largest copper reserves in South America, almost done. And we are following this because it overlaps. This is a mining concession in the southern part. It's in the Andean Amazon transition area. It's a very biodiversity-rich, culturally rich area. We are following a process where indigenous people like Zoraida Chindoy, who's from the Inga people, whose territory overlaps with the mining concession, their fight, their struggles, the legal struggles, the political struggles, the everyday violence they're facing in their resistance. So we conducted several times field work and interviews. She has been in Sweden in October to present her case at the conference in Lund. We had meetings with Oxfam as well to show basically how the global transition and this green transition is connected to ongoing violence, slow violence, psychological violence, gender-based violence in places like in the Putumayo, in this area where Zoraida is from. I'm happy to talk more about it. It's an ongoing work in progress. There's some publications already coming out, and I'm here all day, so I'm not going to run away. Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you, Torsten, and it feels bad to cut you short here. This is a really important topic, so please talk more with Torsten about this really on the front line, defending life and defending our common planet. So with that, yes, and please connect. We're a few minutes behind the schedule, but we will have a leg stretch for 5 minutes so that you get, if you need, you can stretch, you can get water, we will put on mics, but please be here in 5 minutes and we will start the journey from Cali to Belém.